All right, ready to go? All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Fire Commission, December 10th, 2025. Start with the pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any moments of silence, anyone to acknowledge? Hearing nothing, we'll go with nothing. All right, start the meeting with review and approval of the minutes from November.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Public comment. Yes, sir.
Am I supposed to say my name and address? I used to do that where I grew up.
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay. Matthew Troy, 30 Reservoir Street. To the members of the Bethel Fire Commission, my name is Matthew Troy, and I am a member of the Bethel Fire Department. I am speaking here today with regard to the proposed efforts to secure a public safety training grounds, as I have been working on this proposal since October of 2023. I'm specifically here to defend the efforts of those involved in this proposal and to correct any misrepresentation of our intentions, which I believe this commission has committed. On numerous occasions, this commission has raised the point that it believes that I subverted the proper process or channels by bringing this project to the Board of Selectmen before the Fire Commission. This is not true. However, at your June meeting, you voted to end discussion without even earnestly considering this proposal or asking for additional information. You raised this again at your November meeting. Since no one has requested a meeting with me, either here or one-on-one, I believe this effort has been unfairly dismissed despite the commission being notified about this proposal in May of this year. I drafted the first iteration of a training prop in October 2023. I then brought the proposal forward to First Selectman Carter, and for over a year, we began a process of looking for property to place such a training grounds. In early May of 2025, Dan Carter brought me to the town's Paul Street property, suggesting it may be a viable location and a productive repurposing of town industrial property. I amended my proposal based on this recommendation. Then, following the guidance of the First Selectman, I had the proposal sent to both the Fire Commission and the Board of Selectmen. This proposal was sent on May 23rd by Mary Churchill to the Selectmen, as well as to Mr. Doug Cuney of this commission. Mr. Cuney acknowledged receipt of it that same day. This was 2.5 weeks before your scheduled meeting, which I assumed was time to allow you for your review. To suggest that I deliberately bypassed this commission is inaccurate. I was following the guidance of the First Selectman. Now, since this proposal has been dismissed by this commission and no one has reached out to inquire updates or details from me, I'd like to provide them to you now. Currently, we are in a holding pattern as we work to locate a soil scientist and a civil engineer to facilitate a permit request proposal to secure a special government use permit for the Paul Street property. In the meantime, we continue to train with the limited resources and facilities we have in town, though our members continue to donate their own time, money, and resources, along with the generosity of some local businesses, to create meaningful training props and experiences. This commission has had members express their frustration with the appearance of the back lot of the South Street Firehouse. I agree. I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing or intrinsically safe to leave a training container, cut up cars, pallets, and so forth out in the open. I felt the same way about the dilapidated construction trailer used for training and arranged for its removal at no cost to this town. I want to relocate these training resources to a safe, secure area. I see the benefits of having Danbury's facility available for large-scale burns, but I think it's unreasonable, unaffordable, and inappropriate to assume that our members should leave town every Monday night to drill there. The adoption of the training grounds opens the opportunity for increased ISO points. My proposal, if you read it, at no point was asking for funding. For now, I just want to start with a place and explore expansion from there. Our members are prepared to provide sweat equity in this project. This town expects the best of its first responders, and the department's work to maintain the highest standards of services delivered. I'm just trying to find a place where we can regularly, safely work towards those goals. If you think there's a better location, I am all ears, though I see the Paul Street property as an effective use of underutilized town property. I'm not giving up on this project because I think our members in this town deserve it, and should the Fire Commission wish to reopen discussion, as it was offered up in the first place, I am ready to meet. This will not happen overnight, and it will not happen alone. Like anything in the fire service, it'll be a team effort. Thank you.
Commentary, discussion?
Take it under advisement and consider it for future agendas.
Sounds like it's still moving forward anyway, right? If you The town must have agreed if you have a soil scientist and
So I was recommended by the first selectman to go speak to the planning and zoning and the buildings department. And their recommendation was that there is I met with the town planner and he said we have to file for a special use government permit. And to file for a permit, you need inland wetlands approval. So to do that, I have to get a soil sample. So there's a lot of moving parts, and in the winter, I think things have slowed down, but I just wanted to make sure that it was understood that I did not intend at any point to subvert this commission. It just, the timing came out. You both received the email on the same day, and the timing was what it was, outside of my control. And I just want to work as a team to make this happen.
Yeah, just to be clear, I mean, I think that was more of a frustration, well, at least on my part, it was more of a frustration with the selectmen for hearing this and taking action on it, or, you know, having a thought process on it before we even knew anything about it.
Well, operationally, we do have a problem, right? There's 30 different discussions going on, and like our charter was to sort of be a funnel and try to distill that information and not necessarily present it, but distill it and say, here's the position. But as you mentioned, you know, the first selectman is very available. People go see him. It's his prerogative to do that, but it also, you know, even the Board of Finance doesn't come to us. Like, they went directly to the chiefs and asked for the budget, and then they catch us with like, where are the budgets? I'm like, you didn't ask the commission, you sent it to the chiefs. So there's quite a bit of discussion going on in a number of different channels. So I think collectively there's a problem there.
I think it's uncharted. I think this is like many things, is a big project or a big process, and I think it's uncharted territory in knowing what the proper channels are approach. I was looking for. I went to Dan Carter specifically, not to the Board of Selectmen originally.
Mhm.
It was just a conversation to figure out if there was town property that we could even explore for the proposal, which I put into that documentation. So
Yeah, I think
just wanted to share that.
ideally something like that would come here and we'd say, yes, bring it to we'd raise it as a motion to bring it to the select. I think ideally is how that would work. And then the discussion would ensue the way you're going. So.
Okay.
I think it's here or there, and I don't think there's any ill intent on our part to not talk about it. But at that point, it was already underway, right? It was already moving.
I think it was a proposal. I just curiously, did any of you read it?
yeah.
You did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the very cover letter is made out to the commission and the Board of Selectmen, just saying that this is an idea.
Sure.
It wasn't.
Right, no, like I said, Matt, the point was, is we got it a week after the Board of Selectmen's meeting, which it was on their agenda, and we saw it a week after they met.
But what I'm saying is that email arrived 2.5 weeks before everyone's meetings. So I just.
We don't act on emails, we act as a commission in meetings.
Okay.
Actually, you can't act on emails because then it's a meeting outside of. It's not illegal. What is it? It's illegal, inappropriate. You're not allowed to. We couldn't talk over email about it.
But you could have read it, right?
Yeah, we read it.
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
Proposal?
Yes. Okay. I didn't put it on anyone's agendas. It showed up on the agendas as it was scheduled. Thank you.
So under advisement, and we'll continue looking at that. And so if you're going to now get soil samples, where's that coming? Where someone's going to pay for that? Where's that coming from?
Well, right
Do
now.
we know that?
No, at the moment, there's organizations that have offered potentially pro bono services to assist us with this.
That's the best kind.
Absolutely. No, I don't, right now, I'm not looking to spend money. And if it does come to it, I believe we would fundraise specifically, unless it has to come to, to astronomical costs. So still in the research phase.
Yeah.
But I'd like to keep the conversation going.
And obviously in that discussion, or in that plan, there was pads. You had concrete pads for training and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, in a very minimal sense, you could take all the stuff from South Street and put it there, right? To start, and
Ideally,
and
yes.
add stuff as you go. You could do a pad, you could do a
100%.
building. Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, this is not looking, the proposal in no way says that I want to go out and build a building like Danbury did.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm just looking for a space
Yeah.
because the back parking lot is no longer safe or useful. I think is a
It's
better,
not good looking.
No.
It's a bad look.
absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right. Excellent. Any other public comment? All right, moving on to reports. Chairman's report. Couple items. One is, there was an issue raised on ladder maintenance at a previous meeting, for Tower One. Did Tower One get its maintenance, it's up in maintenance? Anyone know?
I don't know if I can speak on behalf of Bethel. I was at the firehouse when the ladder testing from MES shipments arrived, so I did
Okay.
witness that.
So someone was there.
Someone was there. I don't
Okay.
know what the results were. I helped him
All
pull
right.
the truck out.
All right,
That's a different test.
Sorry.
thank you.
No, that was,
We're talking about it's up in service.
that's done through MES. MES is now the Southern representative.
And
Formally
they
shipped.
did the ladder testing.
They did the factory, Southern factory service. Ladder testing was done back in, when was ladder testing done?
What was the outcome of
Last
that?
year, yeah.
That was,
What was the outcome then? Is there anything wrong with it?
I don't know. Bill said he's gonna be here. Bill had something to take care of, but said he would be here.
Good.
So we can review that or revisit that. All right, that's all I have. Move to chief's reports. Doug,
So, we had our elections of officers last month.
congratulations.
Thank you. There wasn't much changes on the tops. Myself, Matt Cook's assistant, Dave Bunton, Ernie Leclerc is their captain now. The three new lieutenants, Nick DeVita, Oleg, and Chris Carlson. Rick Johnson stayed the EMS captain, and our EMS lieutenant is still up in the clouds right now. We don't know that yet. We had
Did no
68
one run for it or what?
we
was
had somebody run for it, yeah, we had issues with internal stuff, which it's gonna be clarified next month.
Gotcha.
So we had 68 calls last month. All various smells and bells, nothing astronomical. We got 9 people in that current fire 1 class, which we're about a month into it now, which is going very well. I believe Bethel's got 8 guys in there. It's a very large class. Our ladder truck went out and had its annual service done last month as well, which that's all done. There was one issue with that which was covered under the factory warranty, which that basic bumper to bumper warranty, shockingly, the year is up this Friday. Already.
Time flies.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
actually amazed by that.
out of curiosity, what was the issue?
It was a thing for the radiator where the neck for the, where it comes out of the top of the radiator, which had a crack. So what it's fixed. They had an overnight part, and they had it longer than we expected, but definitely. And,
And thank you from the Plumtree Schoolhouse Association for
well, that's
putting it in
gonna,
court on our flagpole.
that's gonna happen more, it looks like more frequently because it looks like it's rubbing on the shingles there.
It does, but like that cord's been there for 20 years. Did you see it? Did you see
Yeah,
how bad that
I don't
was?
know how it was still up there, but the new, to be completely honest with you, the new ropes ain't like the old ropes.
Yeah.
They don't last like they do. So we'll
Wow,
be
we
back
like
there.
it. We like your pricing, so that's good. You want to talk about no budget? You should see the schoolhouse budget.
Well, actually, we looked in the windows there and somebody mentioned that we should have our officers meet there instead of at the firehouse.
You can if you want.
It actually looks like it would be something interesting to do, just to get some history.
Let me know. Happy to open it.
And I don't know if everybody's heard, but we've been to Brookfield multiple times this week. Brookfield switched their radio system to digital. We have to, again, go and reprogram all our portables throughout the whole town again to be able to communicate with Brookfield via either whether we're coming here or we're going there. So that's something I'm working on currently, getting prices to get our radios programmed. And then, no, my last thing would be, when we go over the budget, there is the cost increase that I added in there for the, hose. We have a lot of outdated hose that when we get tested this year, it's not gonna pass.
Right.
So that was one of the big increases that I put.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Questions on the report?
So just one thing on your report, Doug, just to reiterate what the selectman asked for last month and previously as well. When you report on your calls, he wants more of a breakdown on the calls, types of calls.
Casey, I send
I
it to
have them,
Casey every,
he sends them to me at the first of every month, and then what I do is I put them in our shared, Google Drive file that's
Which
shared with
I
the
didn't look at.
entire commission, yes. So it's shared with the entire commission, Tom Gallagher's on it, Dan Carter's also on the, file, so instead of printing it out, with like the 8 pages that it usually is, it's all on there for anybody to review like 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
yeah, you've been getting them for, God, the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I have them all in the, labeled out by month.
Software sends them automatically.
Yeah. So that's not,
Okay.
Very detailed, 2 different types of reports too.
We get it from both departments.
No.
So Doug is the good chief.
you get a payroll history and you get the response history for each apparatus. If you go in there and look, you'll see what truck went to every call.
Is that on that Google Drive thing?
Yeah.
I can't get on there.
I can
It's
talk to Jack
technology,
about it
Fred.
and see if there's something on our end that's
I mean,
messing
yeah,
up.
I get the email, but like all the attachments are like all squished together and I can't open any. Okay.
I can
Very
show you at
good.
the end of
That
the
was all I
meeting,
had.
Anything, Pete?
No,
All right. Make a motion, we accept the report as delivered.
Second.
All right, we'll defer Bethel's report until Chief McAllister gets here. New business, election of fire commission officers.
I nominate Doug Kuhn as chairman.
no second.
All those in favor? Approved.
Abstain.
See you later.
Too long.
We need an assistant chair. Right?
Vice Chair, yeah.
Vice chair.
But we don't know who's coming, right? Next month.
True. You can wait.
Should we-
So then,
Can we wait? Is that?
Can we table?
I will wait.
so then I
Well,
would
wait a
revoke
minute.
your
Why did I get
motion.
elected tonight then? I could wait. So maybe
Because
someone
you-
else really wants it next week, next month.
Just, I don't know. Just happened that way, Doug.
All right.
Then just revoke the motion. And-
Well, somebody has to chair next month's meeting.
Well, he'll be chair until elections happen.
It's risky business here now.
I don't know. It's like opening myself.
This
up
one
to-
could splash back on you.
It's just splash back. Hey, I don't know if I want to rescind my motion. For the good of the commission, I'll rescind my motion.
All right. Consideration of approval of the 2026 regular meeting schedule, which is in the package that Casey handed out. I'm already suggesting we're gonna make one change to that. 2. Well, tied to each other though. I think the budget discussion tonight is not gonna happen. Well, at least in Bethel's case, it's not because there is no budget to discuss. Doug, you did the budget, you started working on it. I do want to look at that as well, but I think you started with the wrong baseline because it doesn't match the approved budget for this year. So-
I brought the one that I did versus the one, sorry, the one that Casey put on the thing.
Okay.
And I meant to email this to you.
Okay, perfect.
I don't
So
know.
let's finish the meeting schedule and then we'll do that. All right, so and the meeting schedule is handed out. We have a regular meeting scheduled for January 14th, which is actually a holdover because that meeting was on the calendar from the previous approved list. we're not gonna be able to do the budget tonight. The budget was due to Brad by the end of December. I reached out to Brad and asked him, could we get an extension to the 8th of January? And he said yes. So my proposal is that we add a special meeting on January 7th and we cancel the regular meeting on the 14th.
Yeah.
That's my proposed modification.
Do we address the budgets for both departments and complete them in one meeting?
We're gonna have to hope we can. Help. Right, we can do it live, make the adjustments here. See that, or we gotta drop in a special meeting now and another special meeting in January.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with making January 8th the regular meeting, but I just.
It would be the 7th.
7th, and I told him we'd have it to him on the 8th.
Okay. And I'm okay with making the 7th the regular meeting. I just don't know if we can get everything done in one meeting. I don't know.
Add a little time to it. It's a special meeting, there's only one topic.
Would it be a special, it wouldn't be a special meeting though. We're making it our regular January.
If we would change it to the regular meeting, but you can still have just one topic on
Oh,
it
yeah.
if you want.
Why don't we make it a special meeting and make it a little longer? Let's get it done.
Whatever you want to do, Mr. Chairman.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
The worst comes to worst, we come out of that meeting and it's not done. I have to go to Brad and say we're still not done. I don't know what his reaction to that might be, but I'd rather not test those waters.
Or do you want to make January 7th a special meeting and keep the January 14th meeting? Tell Brad we'll get it. till
We can
11:15.
we can wait to cancel the 14th.
Right.
Yeah.
Cancel that.
Make the 7th a special meeting.
Yep.
Hold the 14th meeting if needed and tell Brad we'll get it till 11:15.
Sure, let's do that. Let's make January 7th a special meeting. Add an hour at the front end, start at 6. If the room's available and we can do
Yeah,
that and
but
it
just
doesn't.
make a motion on it.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion. We had a special meeting January 7th, starting at 6 p.m. The only action or discussion is on budgets.
Second.
Yep, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So be it. Excellent. All right, now we're at budget review.
We just have to-
You said you had two
Veterans Day one.
changes.
I'm gonna cancel the Veterans Day.
Oh, the Veterans Day one, yes.
That's January 6th, you said?
7th.
7th. Also make a motion that we cancel the November 11th, Veterans Day regular meeting on the schedule. We get closer in that time, we could add a special meeting if we need to on either side of that. That's Veterans Day. So make a motion, we cancel November 11th.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion.
I have no problem canceling that meeting, but I think we should have some type of meeting in November, or we should be very proactive in October. So we
With the
don't
budget.
find ourselves
Yeah.
in the same boat
Yeah,
that
we
we
have
are
the same budget
tonight,
problem. That's right.
addressing budgets at the last minute.
Yep.
So I would recommend that we either schedule another date in November, or we ink out October as budget presentations,
Okay.
however you want to handle it, Mr. Chairman.
Let's see what the first week of November looks like.
So
November 4th? And November 4th is a regular meeting? We get a jump on budgets and we don't get surprised by it? And that'll be the first review of budgets, and then we'll have December 9th to dust them off and polish them up.
So if you want to amend your motion to cancel the November 11th regular meeting, to make November 4th a special meeting for budgets. I'll second it.
So it can still be,
Or if you just want to make it a regular meeting.
yeah, we can just make it a regular meeting. Yeah. we just make it a regular meeting. So I'd make a motion on the draft schedule of meetings to change November 11th to November 4th.
So do you want to amend your previous motion? to say cancel the
Yes, so
11.
amend or strike my previous motion, whichever is easier for you as the record
You
keeper.
can amend it.
Okay, I'd like to amend my motion. In addition to canceling November 11th, we'll move it to November 4th.
And I'll make a motion to adopt the remainder of the meeting schedule as presented.
We still have to. skip this.
Oh,
And then-
Second on mine,
Yeah, second on that.
all in favor?
Then I'll make a motion to adopt the remainder of the meeting schedule as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, budget time. You had something new and exciting out, Doug?
No, man, it's the same as Casey's deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the baseline you started with is wrong.
It's the same one that Brett said. It's the same one that Brett said. We just copy and pasted it.
So I looked at Brad's and I printed Brad's out today, and Brad shows the current year budget, and Sebi's updates of, budget progress and all that has the same numbers as the ones I printed out today. It shows your current year budget at 214.8. And the one you have shows the current is 192,450.
One of these two is the correct number.
Yeah, the Brad's number and Sebi's numbers match. Maybe it was just an error of cutting and pasting somewhere along the line. In any event, I think you're working from a baseline that's artificially low, right? You should be working from the 214 number.
I could figure it out.
Yeah.
But nothing's gonna change in what I basically proposed that.
Yeah, so you do show an increase. So you're at you thought you were at 192, you're actually at 214, and your new proposed budget is 241,750. So that does work. I mean, it's a lot smaller increase than you suspected it might.
Yeah.
So do we want to jump down line by line? Fellow commissioners and start talking about the items? Sure. Okay, I think the one thing that's not going to work well is the prior year budget. Plus 78. And those numbers for comparison are not going to work. In Doug's thing, it shows the prior year budget is 171. Brad's number says the prior year was 193.
I think I might have did it for the wrong year when I copy and pasted it.
Maybe. Yeah. So I mean, we could talk item by item. We could go through them. See what it looks
Maybe
like.
I can make changes after this meeting and
Yeah.
then give it to you from there, whatever we discussed tonight.
We want to, let me run through them. Let's see what they look like. See what our thoughts are. Equipment and supplies. You're proposing 89.7. Your actual this year is 82.7. So you're up by $7,000, right? A little less than 10%. Yeah, a little less than 10%. So like equipment line, the prior year budget is actually 2,000. You're requesting 2,000, so there's actually no gain in that.
Well,
Placement,
actually, Doug, that's wrong because there should be are you on firehouse maintenance?
I'm on equipment. I'm in equipment and supplies, the first line of equipment.
Oh, okay, sorry, go on.
So according to Brad's number, the prior year budget was 2,000, and you've requested 2,000 this year. Your sheet shows the prior year being 1,750, which I think is incorrect.
Yeah.
So it's zero change there. Second down, replacement pagers, you had none. Brad shows none. This year shows none as well. So it's a $1,500 increase there. And now what's the quantity? Replace old pager. $1,500 doesn't sound like a lot of money to replace anything.
Well, I have to get the prices on the pagers. I put the number in there basically as a placeholder, so if you can get 5 pagers at $1,500, and that's what we're gonna get.
People really use pagers anymore?
It's the only thing we use. Everybody in the firehouse has a pager, they use for the pager.
I'm just curious. I haven't used a pager in 3 years. That's just me.
What wakes you up for a fire call in the middle of the night?
I'm sorry?
What wakes you up for a fire call in the middle of the night?
The phone app.
Well, that's when waking me up.
I just, I'm asking.
Yeah,
I guess, I mean, if we're using them, we're using them.
no, we still use them.
Guess that's why I don't make calls in the middle of the night.
That was-
All right, so 1,500 in pagers, miscellaneous computer equipment.
I left it alone.
Yeah, no change. Stationware,
Well, wait a minute, miscellaneous computer equipment. Okay, so I'm trying to follow along here. It's
Yeah.
bouncing from,
stationware, you're requesting 5,000. You actually, your prior year was 5,000. No change. Gloves, helmets, boots, hoods, 4,500. Your prior year budget was 5,000, so you've actually given back 500. Probably don't want to do that.
And just need, what do you need, Doug?
I don't even need it all.
Turnout gear. You put 35,000. Your prior year budget was 40,850.
If you're not that dumb.
You requested 5850 and they approved 4850. So you gave back 5,000 there, Tim.
How much is that? That's a complete, how many sets of gear is that?
I think it's 6.
And that's the actual price? What you?
I have to honestly look back and tell you the exact number.
$5,800 a set. What was our, we had sort of a rule of thumb, that how many sets of gear was per year?
Thought it was 8.
Was it 8?
I don't know what Stony Hill was. Yeah.
and I think it was the same.
I think it was 8,
It was
because
the
we were
same,
going,
yeah,
trying to
right.
get pricing on 16.
Right. But then you guys didn't buy the same gear either, did you? No. Doug, is your gear better than what Bethel bought?
We just changed vendors actually this year and bought,
Is there a difference in the cancer protection or anything like that between the two companies, or is the gear comparable?
I don't know what Bethel's, I know what gear they use, but I don't know what their cancer. Because ours is, you can't get anything better than what we have.
Right, but that's why we asked that everybody.
It seems
buy
like
the
we
same
brought this
gear.
up for the past 2 years.
Mhm.
Both departments should be buying the same gear. I mean, if one department's buying better gear and somebody from the other department gets cancer because they have a lesser quality gear, it's gonna come back to the town and say, well, how come this department's got an inferior quality gear? And is that why he got cancer?
And I went
And who made that decision?
out and got 3 quotes on gear. And then we went with the, what was it, not the lowest.
Not the lowest, it was
the middle
slightly
of the
more than that,
road.
yep. Mhm.
Figuring that Bethel was gonna do the same thing using them 3 quotes that I went and got.
Right.
We still gotta straighten that out.
And the gear you chose is sufficient for what you think? Like,
Yes, 110%.
So you don't know what Bethel bought? They bought something that is inferior to what you bought, or
I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
I don't know if
It's very difficult to get this information when one department doesn't even show up to these meetings. It seems to be another recurring problem for the past 2 years.
There's no compelling reason really, right, to come, other than
Well, there kind of is.
civility on their part.
Well, the health and safety of your members, I think is a compelling reason.
Well, I agree with that. but-
Over here.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
without a doubt.
I got a question on the phone, but I forgot what it was now.
So avoid oil
We're not,
liability.
we're not using the foam tanks on the trucks anymore, right? We're using inductors now. Did we ever do anything with getting those cleaned out? I remember there was, Tom talked about something with the state coming to,
I took care of all of them. Yeah, they've all been cleaned out for the deep guidance, and part of that guidance is you cannot reuse them. Because there's still some residual PFAS in there. So even if you put foam back in there and reuse them, it's still reportable to deep if they can't ever using those foam.
Wow. Holy cow.
So they've all been disconnected.
so with that being, is it just the polytech that can't be used, or is it the whole foam induction
It's all the
system?
piping there.
Well, I mean, based on that theory, you can't use your pump in your truck because the foam went through the entire, entire one half of the pump.
That's,
I don't know.
I don't know, that's their guidance.
That's their guidance.
That's where they use the foam things.
But that's, you can't reuse the tank or the foam induction system.
Right.
Silly.
Holy cow.
Was a lot of money the town spent on all those induction systems, on all those trucks. Well, I mean, not just our town, it's every town.
Almost everything.
Interesting. So you're just using a class A foam with a separate inductor? That was I guess that was my question.
Does make it foolproof. You can't pull the wrong handle on the pump.
That's right.
Right, fill the fire school with foam. I wouldn't say it doesn't make it more difficult.
All right, so the prior year foam budget on what you submitted, Doug, shows is nothing, but on the actual approved budget, it was 500. So you had 500, you're requesting 1,000, so it's an increase of 5. Hose replacement's a big number, 10,000. That's replacing outdated hose. Previously, you had 3,000 approved, so the increase is not as bad as it looks. $7,000 increase.
What kind of hose we buying?
3-inch, 2-inch. 1 3/4, dated back to 1977.
You guys are really sold on that 2-inch?
Honestly, I haven't used it to say that I'm sold on it.
I used it and didn't even know it was a 2-inch hose. I thought it was into the floor at the Greenwood Avenue Wonder. I had no idea it was that.
And how much more does it flow?
A lot.
Yeah, the PPM's a lot less. But yeah,
I'm trying to.
More than a booster line, chief.
It's just funny that we started off with 3/4.
A lot more than a can.
Now we're up to 2 and 3.
Trying to put it, have 1 3/4, 2-inch, 2.5-inch on each truck is what the Ultimate goal is. But there's hose that needs to be replaced, which I would replace it with 2-inch, is the 2.5 and the 3-inch, and a couple lengths of 1 3/4 from their old, from the 70s. Which I think I gave you the hose report for last year. It's all in there.
Yep.
So are we moving away from 2.5-inch hose, or are we adding 2-inch hose as another option?
It's still an option on the truck, and if we have it there, and if it's outdated, we might as well replace it with 2.5. I'm not looking to just get rid of it.
So you're replacing 2.5 and 3-inch with 2-inch.
Well, no,
You're replacing
sorry, you're-
2.5 and 3
Yeah.
inches, what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, that, I just wanted to be clear on what I was, I guess I.
So
The
2
shift
inch
is your
will
1
replace
3/4 is going to be
1
2-inch.
3/4, right?
Yeah, we're gonna eliminate, instead of having 2 inch and 3/4, we're gonna have 1 and 3/4, 2 inch, 2.5 inch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the flow rate's proportional, cubic proportion to the diameter,
Usually, yeah.
right? Is that what it is? Yeah. So, a lot of bang for the buck and an extra hose.
And then I went and also got 3 quotes on all the different hoses, but I guess we can go over that at a later date.
You,
So this is all attack hose, you're not talking about any 5 inch.
No. And we did lose lengths of 5 inch, but we had plenty of 5 inch still left over in the firehouse.
Make a note of that, Mr. Chairman. He said he has plenty of
Plenty.
5 inch.
we'll look for the sale.
We won't know how many go bad this year.
Plenty.
All right.
So when Bill comes in and asks for 5 inch, we can tell him.
We know we get
"Oh,
some, we know we
it's
get some, yeah. Sure his card key works over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, absorbents. Last year you had 1,100 approved. This year, your number here is correct. And you're asking for $2,900 increase. Car accidents, more.
Yeah, I just actually bought a whole pallet of Speedy Drag versus buying individual bags, which seems to be cheaper, but we go through a lot of it.
Hazmat meters. Last year you had 1,000 approved. This year you're looking for $500 increase. Anything discussion?
What meter would you buy?
What's that?
What meter would you buy?
Well, I would like to buy a new one of the single gas meters, the sniffers. We only have one of them.
Do you have one at Bethel has one or?
Yes. I'd like to get another one for the rescue truck. We have one on engine 3. We'd like to put another one there. And this would cover, as Matt's saying, the Cal gas, which I don't even want to get into it right now, but we have 2 full bottles of Cal gas at the firehouse that are outdated.
Right.
That I'm working with MES right now to try to get some kind of compensation back from them. Because we can't even use it right now. Once the red light turns on the machine and the bottle is barcoded, it's no good. So I'm working today with MES trying to give them their outdated gas back so we can, because it's not cheap, that stuff is what, $600 a bottle.
How long does the bottle last? I mean, how
Well,
long
that was
before
the-
it expires?
I don't, we're going through it, you know, because you recalibrate your meters every month, so we were going through it a year, but somehow we ended up with 2 models last year where we didn't need, and now we're trying to figure that out. But I was also trying to think of a way where we can calibrate all our meters in one firehouse
Right.
and only purchase one thing of gas.
It's not a bad idea, is it?
No, it's not,
Sounds
but
like a great idea.
It does actually.
it eliminates, you know, that purchase of the bottles of gas.
Duplicate purchases of.
Because I think Bethel has multiple calibration machines. I don't know if they're the same or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the MSA 4 gas and 6 gas meters, or 4 gas and 5 gas meters, the calibration machine. I'm sure it's the same for both departments.
I know they got 2 machines sitting on the counter. I don't know if they're the same. They're different machines. You know?
Yeah, and they use 2 different gases.
I learned something today.
And the gases that you buy are not cheap. Them bottles of gas, I don't quote me on it, but I believe they're like $600. They might be more.
Well, I like your thought process of combining it into one central location to.
Then half of them will never get that. You think?
Who's gonna take all the meters from one house and bring them to the other one every month?
And they have to be done every month. That's the problem, is that they have to.
It's another thing someone's gotta go do.
It was a thought that I was talking
I
about.
like your thought process.
Yes. I don't.
Whether it works or not that's a different story. It's sad that we've become such a lazy society.
And it wouldn't hurt to have monthly training together. Especially on how to calibrate a meter.
Well, we do quite a bit of training.
So I'm sure you do, yeah. But it wouldn't hurt everybody. But Fred didn't know how to calibrate.
I would buy a new vehicle, put the calibration machine in the vehicle.
Know how to calibrate the
You know what that'd be like?
And don't piece that.
You know what it'd be like trying to get a vehicle? All right, where do we leave off?
Good testing.
SCBA and fit test. You're asking for 3,000. Last year you had 3,200, so you're shorting yourself $200 there.
What does SCBA supplies consist of? Is that just your repairs or what is
It
that?
should be the repairs and the fit testing and when the state, when we have the state come down and do the fit testing.
Okay, portable pager and batteries. You're asking for 700. Last year you were approved for 800, so you're leaving $100 on the table there. And we'll go back through these and
Yeah, we
we'll
have to.
we'll make the baselines correct so that this all works out.
I have it like here, I'm losing money.
You're losing money. Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Yep. In these categories so far, yes. Overall, you're up. So somewhere in here, we're going to find that you're up. But it's just not in this category. Drill and emergency food. Last year, you were approved for 5,000. You're up 500. Premix 2-cycle fuel 500. 500. No changes anywhere there. Adapters and fittings 1,200. 1,200. No changes. Mobile and portable radio repairs. Last year you had 1,500. And you're up 700 in that category.
And that's even gotta go up more than that.
Didn't we just talk about the whole thing with radio replacements in the capital?
Well, that's for the vehicle radios.
This mobile radio, right?
Yeah, this is repair, I keep reading, mobile radio repairs.
We're not gonna repair them if we're gonna replace them, right?
This is mobile and portable.
Right, but we're not gonna repair mobiles if we're gonna replace them, right?
No, but we still have to program them and there still has to be money in there to be able to work on radios. And we need to be able to buy parts for portable radios, which we have 0 parts for our new portable radios. We don't even have a spare antenna for our new.
But my only point is we have all relatively new portables and you're looking for $1,000 increase just to maintain your portables.
It costs $600 something every time we get them programmed. No, not yet.
Do we know what they spent last year in radio repairs?
I didn't print out Sebi's latest list. You can find it though. She didn't send us.
And get one this one.
That won't tell you anyway, it just shows the vendor, doesn't tell you what it's for.
Oh, I was gonna look in the category. You're right. All right. So we don't know.
I can give you the number. We, since Kenny was chief, we always put everything in Quicken
Mhm.
category so you can actually see what it is.
Search
so.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give it to them.
Gas meter repairs and supplies. 1,700, you're looking at 2,700 here. $1,000 increase.
So that's where the calibration gas is. It's,
Yes. Which we should put them all into one.
I think it's easier if you broke down what's a new meter and what's just calibration gas or maintenance on the old ones. Calibration will be reoccurring.
Next line, vent saw. 1250, adding 1250 to the budget for replacing a saw on truck 4.
And the reason for that is that the saws that we have on there right now are borrowed from Bethel. And one of them is probably as old as I am,
Still runs up.
barely.
What do you get, a chainsaw or a case saw?
But we're gonna get another roof saw. We have that Echo slanted bar saw that you guys had in the back room there. I borrowed that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a steel.
That might be as old as you.
Come on.
That's pretty old. The orange and white one?
Orange, yes.
That's pretty old.
Came in after the circular saws, so. Came in our time.
We actually used it at the Embry when we were in there last, and it's.
That was a
it's
good saw.
last.
It cuts,
Oh, it cuts, but I think it probably hasn't last. It's better than a handsaw.
better than a hit. Next,
All right, closing out this category. SCBA required NFPA testing and repairs, 7,300. You actually were approved last year for 7,500, so you gave back 200. And PPE repair and cleaning, 600, that matches up. So, last year you were approved for it's like 82.7. And this year you're at 89.7. In that category. So there are increases in here. Okay, this will make more sense once we line it up with the actual prior year, I think. The prior year approved budget. It's not so wide, so we were giving a lot of money back. You were under in a lot of categories.
So I think it would be easier if I redid it.
Yeah.
On, the current budget.
Yeah, it might be. Split a lot of hairs. We're gonna split a lot of hairs and then split them again.
If it's confusion. Yeah.
Yep.
But I can go over the increases here that you want, the ones that are going up.
Yeah, which ones? So you want to drop down to firehouse maintenance and look there?
Yeah, which there's only a couple in there, like the big one in there was the private hoses.
Mhm.
We had one of the hoses go bad, which we had to get repaired, which was very costly to repair.
Mhm.
So I went and got a quote on getting all the hoses replaced in the whole firehouse, which was roughly around $9,000.
Do you have an annual service contract on the plant movement system?
We were trying to find something, to be completely honest with you, I do not believe we do.
I know we used to. I don't know. I don't know if they still do or not.
I believe it, and don't quote me on it, I think it was $1,200 to $1,500 when they came and they fixed one hose that got ripped off.
I
And the
don't,
hoses are so old in there, they're as old as the building. They all have to be fixed, and
I know that grant or low bid grant.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to whether or not it's worthwhile to have an annual service contract. I know we did in the past, and
No,
what I
I did.
remember, it seemed to cover a lot, not only just the annual service, but miscellaneous broken parts, they would come and change the filters. And
Yeah, I can even tell you probably the last time the filter or anything, it's sort of like the oil water separator that's actually.
why don't
filtered
you
now.
look into that with Black Vet and see what the cost is on an annual service contract and what it covers? It might be a worthwhile addition. And that was something that we used to have. I don't know, Tom, do you remember having it?
I don't recall having that. And
Yeah, I know we had it
Air
downtown.
filling special.
You were the one that got the Black Vet system originally.
Right.
Yeah, and they're out of Massachusetts. The company uses the closest place around here to deal with the problem was out of Massachusetts.
It sounds familiar.
I'll call them tomorrow and see if they have a thing because it's something that's probably never been done.
Yeah, it's probably not working very efficient if you've never changed the filter.
Wouldn't even tell you where it is.
There's a big box, big silver box. Yeah.
And then the other increase was the garage doors. Again, we have a service contract for the garage doors where they come and they go through all the gaskets, all that. And that's all.
An annual service contract on your garage doors. I love it. It's good. They come in and they maintain it and they lubricate all your rollers, and
Yes.
that's nice. Change all the belts when they get dry rotted. And
I have no idea about that. They need to be done. Get done.
it's awesome. What a great idea.
That's going up, so.
So that garage door maintenance, that your annual service contract on the garage doors is included in that line.
That's in the, garage door, yeah, the garage door maintenance line.
Outstanding. So,
And then the next big one in there is our projector in our community room where we do all our teaching and everything. We have to either get a new one or we have to get somebody in there to realign the one that's in there so it fits on the screen. It's too big for the screen. It needs to either be adjusted or whatever. But I put a number in there of $2,500 to get that fixed, so it's somewhat, so it's better than it is what I'm saying. I got basic prices on new projectors, but I don't think that we need to change the projector. I think we need to get somebody in there to realign the projector.
you can't reach that, Tom?
Yeah.
It was replaced once and whatever the ratio is of it, it's off. So I think it just needs to be moved back or forward. I'm not sure which way it's gonna go.
But we need to
Either
actually
go
get somebody
forward,
in there
it's not that
to do that. We can't. It's more or less of taking panels down, moving the thing and getting it right. So that's why I put the number on there for that.
I guess that's beyond the scope of the town's IT services.
Ask your friend Jenny.
That's true. And then the firehouse software and the alerting system, I added $500 to that, which that number probably is gonna go up to, or it might go down.
What's the difference between firehouse information software and firehouse management software?
And I'll throw another comparison in there. First, do an active 911 software.
Those were two that we were discussing today, actually.
I'm sorry about that. So, yeah, so you shouldn't have active 911 in there. That comes out of emergency management and that's been pretty much eliminated. Active 911. So first do,
I'm just going, so I see that appears on last year's approved budget. There's a line item in there for $5 million.
for active 911.
It says first due and active.
Oh, so it should just be first due. So, yeah, that's split three ways between the two fire departments and the fire marshal for the fire incident reporting system and the software for inventory management and all that, and training and all that. So that gets split three ways. And I think it's a 2 or 3 year contract. We're on year 2.
I'm just looking at two separate software lines for $6,500 total. One says firehouse information software, and you're requesting $1,500. The other one says firehouse management software and alerting system, and you're requesting $5,000.
For the TV system.
Oh, yeah, that's for first arrival.
Yeah, one's for first arrival, and the other one's for the.
Yeah, the firehouse management software, that should be first due, which is the record management system for the firehouse and the fire marshal. And the information software is the first arriving, which are the display screens of the bays and in the day room. That pops up the calls.
Yes.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. So the firehouse management software for $5,000, that's the one that's split three ways.
Yeah.
So-
44, 47.
I'm looking at Bethel, I'm looking at Bethel's budget and the template Bradford sent out, and I don't even see it. That $5,000.
Is it in professional services?
Nope. First due is in there.
That's
That's
it. That's it.
at $2,000.
The old thing, they're nothing. These are
Up
supposed to be the
by
same.
Up by
Line items.
$3,000.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the same format, which is budgets.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not, even what Brad sent out, they're not the same.
another thing we've been trying for 2 years to accomplish.
It seems like it'd be easy, right?
Yeah, here's the format, fill it in.
Yeah.
One for Bob Kwiatkowski years ago, and the old template we used to use.
Yeah, and you sent that to me and I forwarded it to him and let's Google Workspace.
That's our emails and stuff for the officers. Yeah, the Google Drive that you can't get into.
And we're paying $2,000 for it and I can't get into it.
Well, you can't get them the template.
2,500 we get you.
500 from you though.
Yeah.
All right, great.
And then I added in here the oil water separator, which we had to get cleaned, which has never been done in the firehouse. And it's gonna be on a regular annual basis. Every year it's gonna get cleaned now.
I should comment on that.
You got a comment on it?
No, not on yours.
No.
It should be
You
done.
have one, yeah.
It should be done.
And that's a hazmat company comes out and pumps that.
Yes.
Building maintenance.
Yeah. Clean harbor.
We had, they just did it 2 weeks ago. It's county public service came out.
Really is something that should be addressed by the building maintenance department.
I just said that.
And it should come out of their budget. Town building and it's town maintenance.
That it's required.
Well, then if we're gonna do that, then they can take the garage doors and all that too.
I don't disagree with you at all. There's a lot. I mean, it's not just your department, both departments. These are town buildings and, you know, they seem to be forgotten about a lot when it comes to maintenance. I think if, you better just leave it there. I think if you try to move it, then it won't get.
It'll
done.
disappear.
It'll disappear.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it'll
It
be
won't get
nowhere.
done.
No, it'll get done because we have no choice because we get a smell in the building. And it has to, we have to do it.
All right, any further discussion on, building maintenance? Drop into vehicle maintenance, any one of the high flyers in vehicle maintenance?
I just upped the, to general service repair.
Last year we were approved for 18.5. This is showing 16.5, so you're actually not as much increase as you expected.
Yeah, but the request that was 20,000, I requested.
Yeah, I'm just saying your previously approved budget was 18.5. Last- So your increase is not as bad as it was.
And we don't know what the actual expenses are for the last year on maintenance? Is that broken out?
We can get the
somehow?
whole category and I guess we can dig deeper in the individual items. She sends out the whole
Right.
run and you have to select, you can select the vendor to try to figure out what
Right.
category.
It's in that Google Drive that I can't
Just
get in.
saying that when you ask for an increase in maintenance, usually it's say, well, what truck is costing more?
Yeah.
Why are you
Yep.
raising it? Which vehicle? Because we look at replacing
Right.
each
Agreed.
versus just saying raise it 3,500 because.
Yep.
The other big one is federal inspection.
Yep, 105,000. Well, let's see
I
what it
mean,
is.
what's the difference between service and service? Chassis and transmission service versus general service and repairs.
That's like when something breaks out of the ordinary.
Well, what is chassis and transmission service? You don't fix good transmissions and chassis, do you?
But they gotta be serviced.
Yes, yes, that's maintenance. Just the way the wording is strange on some of these things, that's all, you know, it's hard to
Well,
understand exactly.
they're two huge numbers. No.
Right, I mean, annual and federal inspections is one thing. And you're saying basically, yeah, services.
I think I asked you this last year too, Doug, on the annual apparatus weight analysis, actually weighing these trucks every year. Is that done as part of your DOT inspections, or is that something you're doing separately?
Not this unit with the DOT inspection, I believe.
It's like when the truck goes up to Gallons a Night for its annual pump service and DOT inspection, that's when they're doing it.
Yes.
And you get those reports back of what the actual weights are on each.
I'll have to look through last year's,
I don't recall seeing that. So that's the reason I don't recall, I mean, I'm not saying it's not there, I just don't recall seeing the.
honestly, I'll have to look at it. If it's in the report.
And just looking at Bethel's last year, and again, we don't have anything to compare to. Their mandatory vehicle compliance inspection last year for Bethel was approved at 34.8. Yeah. 2 times what this was. Wow. We spent so much time making all these categories the same, and they're not the
Yeah,
same.
Right.
They're not the
This
same.
is like Groundhog Day.
Right.
Yeah, it makes
That's
it very.
a whole bunch of stuff lumped together on
Yeah.
that one too.
Yes, it really just needs to be the same format. If there's something that one department uses or doesn't use, either just leave it blank.
Leave it blank. Yeah. Right, stuff like that should be relatively easy to be comparable, right?
Right, the number of trucks.
Number of trucks
the number
times
of
the service.
inspections
Yeah.
Should be exactly the same, basically.
Yeah. All right, we're probably not gonna solve that again, and because we spent months trying to solve it last year. Anything else in maintenance that's a high flyer? We need to talk about.
The third party, ladder tester for the aerial.
$2,000.
Yeah, it seems like an adequate number.
No getting around that one.
Actually, that shows up in last year's budget as $1,900. So it's not a high flyer asking for $2,000. It was 1,900 last year. Anything, dues and education, high flyers to talk about? Overall, you're $1,000 less than that than what we were approved for last year. So again, when we put the current approved budget in here, this should all wash out. And professional services, last year, your approved budget was 21, you're at 21.5 this year. So $500.
Next year, I guess, just before you go on with that, I added in the professional services, which ain't on here, is, 2 cell phones for the chief and assistant chief. To keep in their vehicles. And this, and Billy will, when somebody's trying to get a hold of somebody. Then he started telling me they need their phone, I'm not throwing stones at Billy, but as Billy says to me, his phone's expensive.
Mhm.
He doesn't feel that he should bring it, but if there's an issue, we need to get a hold of somebody. I feel that we all should. Not all of us, at least the top 4 officers from either department have a phone. Not that I need another phone to carry around, but
You're gonna be like the kid that has a belt just full of phones.
Every department has one.
but that was, I added that in $2,000.
So like, it's gotta be an option like to get a service, get a plan, right? Sign up, get a free phone.
I would argue that every other town cell phone is paid out of utilities or somewhere
Mhm.
in the town of Bethel.
Right.
No one ever sees a bill. No, I don't even think the police has a.
We used to have, the fire departments used
So
to
should we
have,
just lump for 3 or 4 more phones
Right.
at
Yeah.
$30 a month? It should just
It's
be lumped
not
into
even-
the town
right.
cell phone plan.
Yeah.
So where is that? How do we find that?
Brad, it's an account, it's like a utilities account.
Yeah.
Put it in there?
That's where it should
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with your idea. We should get the town to buck up and include it in their bulk.
I see no elements in my buddy Jack.
We had 10 cell phones, so we were issues.
yeah, we kind of went away from them because it got to the point where everybody had their own cell phone and nobody wanted to carry 2 cell phones. That's
All right.
redundant, but.
So I guess we got a lot of work to do on this to get this brought up to use the right approved budget and represent this. At least we've made some headway on this it'll make January easier. Bill, to bring you up to speed, we got Brad so the budget that he requested was supposed to be back to him December 31st. The only way we could do that is to do it tonight, which we can't do. Or have a special meeting between now and the end of the year. We opted not to do that. Brad said we could give it to him on January 8th. So we adopted a modified meeting schedule, which Casey will have in the record, but we're gonna do the budget review on January 7th.
And we're really hoping that you put yours in the same format as Stony Hills.
The meeting is on January 7th.
At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, we added an hour to it. We got special dispensation from Brad to be able to give him the budget on the meeting.
My turn?
Yeah, all done with everyone satisfied with our budget discussion so far? Okay.
I
Certainly.
apologize for jumping on you earlier. It's something really got to me over the last 48 hours. We did some serious mutual aid over the last couple of days. And one of the issues that came up yesterday had to do with radios. Right? Our primary mutual aid towns decided to go digital with their dispatch. And it created an incredible amount of issues yesterday. We were trying to communicate with each other on fireground frequencies. Doug and I are trying to communicate with the Newtown companies, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know where you got the price for 600, but I met with the vendor from Newtown today. And he was the low bid. And the low bid over there was $1,000 per fire company, that's 600. And that was only to do Motorola. That did not include any other makes or models they have, such as Kenwood, etc. So I said to him, if we made the modifications to our existing, mobiles or portables, and we included the different makes and models. And he said, well, this is the number of average portables and mobiles that we did in Newtown, and it was significantly less than what we have here at Bethel. So even that $1,000 price wasn't even close, probably much closer to 2,000 or 2,500. So, and this is just one more thing that we never saw coming. We didn't realize that mutual aid partners are going to do something like this. We couldn't talk to their dispatchers, nothing. Right. And we still can't build it until we make a modification. And we're going to have to do that soon. And it's going to have to come out of this year's budget. And we're going to have to do something about how we handle these always.
You talking about $2,000 overall or per unit? What's your
No, it's overall.
overall?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought Doug said it was $600 per radio.
Yeah.
No.
I believe when we did it for Newtown, the 74 portable radios that are digital capable, which I believe are the only ones other than maybe a couple of EMS radios that are digitally capable that reprogram. I think it was like $600 or $700 per department to do all the radios, to reprogram 75 radios.
So we're talking like $1,000 today to reprogram?
Say that again?
So you're saying like $1,000 in today's money?
That was the average
Oh, within-
bid per fire company, so it was 5,000. So bottom line, it's gonna be at least 1,000, probably more, because we had more radios for fire companies than they had there. So it's usual. So,
Yeah, it does, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem to me. I mean, it's a monumental problem. It doesn't seem like a monumental bill.
Really, it
right, it's
seems,
something that we had not wished.
There's got to be a little wiggle room somewhere.
I don't see a lot of it. So, all right. Comment on the Plymouth contract. All right. You're right. We haven't had one for a while because we found a couple of Plymouth filters about 2 years ago. Nobody knew what they were. When we asked around, somebody said, oh yeah, those are filters that we used to use. That they were changed annually by contract in the Plymouth system, and we don't have that anymore. So that was just confirm what you thought, that there's no existing contract.
I think Doug's gonna contact the vendor tomorrow and get a price on it and
Matt's gonna do that tomorrow. He actually has.
and what it
this.
covers.
Yeah, we will have all that.
See if that's a worthwhile thing to put into next year's budget for both departments.
Overlord and garage doors. These were items that were in the budget in the last few years, to make modifications or replacement. So what I did was I worked with the town, and all we're gonna do now is we're gonna paint the doors, call it a day. Right? It's a huge nut to crack, probably up to close to 30,000. Replace all the doors. Based on the last bid we got was about 26,000. So we're gonna pay them and see how we make out.
Why do you feel that the doors may need to be replaced?
Say again?
Why do you have the feeling that the doors may need to be replaced?
Well, it was capital expenditure in the last few years, not this past year, but in the.
Well, it was a capital expenditure request. It was never.
Right, it was a request, and it didn't go on.
Those doors are not that old.
Yeah.
As far as
They-
garage door age goes.
They're in rough shape. They're in rough shape. Doors are in rough shape. So,
Do you have a garage door maintenance contract, annual service contract?
we do. But the facilities people are wanting to take care of. So, just throwing that out there.
Well, I think Doug has an actual outside vendor that provides an annual service contract, correct, Doug?
Yes.
Not the town maintenance.
I know Bethel already work on this. I comment about, you said you couldn't find this year's budget a reference to expenditure on this first due. To look at it out there. It was the reason you couldn't find it, Commissioner, is because it wasn't in there.
All right,
That's
fair.
that was before my time, all right? And it was 2,500 there, which I think you alluded to, you saw $2,500 there for stuff. That was part of our share of the cost of the system.
Right.
The actual, share was over $7,000. And we had to come up with, 44.25. I think that was the split. The split was 7,000. But if you subtract the 2,500 that was in there from the 7,500, our share was, I remember probably 44.75 that we had to come up with. It was not in our budget. It was another hit that we took that was not in there. I wish I could tell you it was my fault. It was not in there. So. All right.
Seems like that $1,000 should be a drop in the bucket then for reprogramming radios.
Well, just add it to the pile.
Mhm.
I didn't see any reference in our service contracts or DOT inspection for weighing the apparatus. And I went through it with a fine tooth comb. I'm just putting that out there.
I don't know that it's been done since.
Should have been done.
I did. We used to take them to Shepherds and they'd do them for free. That's how we
Does the
did it.
town have a contract to do it on their vehicles each year? I don't know.
Town does. When I was chief, it was a new NFPA requirement, you know, I mean, how much NFPA we want to get involved with, I don't know that it's an actual OSHA requirement, but it was something that I started doing, and I mentioned it to Chief Barchisepi at the time, and Stony Hill started doing it, and then I don't know, at some point, I guess it got dropped downtown.
There's a couple of, NFPA, NIOSH and OSHA classes being offered at the fire academy in January. Cover all that stuff.
But we
It's
did
on
it,
my agenda to go, so.
we did it every time we had a new vehicle. We weighed them at Shepherds there.
The NFPA standard requires you to do it every year. I mean, like I said, how much NFPA are we following it? I mean,
I mean, you should know the weight of the truck and you should make sure that it's not overweight
yeah, I mean, the stuff,
initially, for sure.
well, initially,
And
for
then if
sure,
we
but
make any
stuff
big
changes every
changes-
year.
Right. I mean, there's no problem weighing it. It's not.
And it's not that expensive. It's $1,000. I think you put $1,000 in, Doug, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has it done when the trucks go up to gallons a night for their annual inspections.
Dog go there. Right, Commissioner,
Prepare your budget, add that line item in.
Commissioner, you had made mention, I think Doug, you said, the aerial testing. How
Mhm.
much did you have in there for that?
I had 2,000.
Okay,
That's pretty.
got to raise it to at least 3,000. Now, I can verify that with Bill. So you don't get stuck, no, it's 3,000. Yeah, no. All right. Listen, Doug said something here, but moving on to the cell phones. My cell phone is owned by my business. It's a very expensive phone. I'm not comfortable taking it to emergency scene because I've had issues in the past. It's not that I don't want one. I just don't want to pay the cost of having to replace it. I have a nice phone and, I'd like to keep it that way. I'd love to see the town assign phones to a car or an individual. Would help it all a lot. Yesterday was a good example, not being able to communicate at that fire. Both of us fires. So,
Yeah, I think like we mentioned it before, I think each department head should just approach the finance department and tell me you want to add a couple of phones onto the town's plan. I mean, that's the way it was always done in the past. We had 6 phones.
Yeah.
Actually, we have more because we had them in the apparatus too. Then the engines and the ambulances, and then the top 6 officers had them. That might be a little over the top.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, the town has a phone plan. Just add a couple of phones to the plan. You're just talking about, I mean, it's not gonna add anything to the cost of the contract. You're just talking about the cost of a couple of phones.
I'm gonna work on that tonight. I will work on that.
Will you take lead on that and
I
get
will take care of
2
it.
for you, 2 for?
I will take care
Thank
of
you.
it.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I, in conclusion, apologize for my lateness here, as I indicated to the commissioner, the chairman of there. As serious administrative issues that we had to address. And I believe in Aaron will go back to that. There's no way I could avoid it.
All right, anything further? Comments on chief's report? Additional comments?
We're hoping for the same format with all departments for the summer.
Yeah, spent a lot of time making them the same last year. And ultimately, Brad sent out different ones. I mean, we had them clean and common, but Brad sent out different ones. So.
I'd also like to see a copy of the, that annual service on the ladder. Get a copy emailed to the commissioners or even, do you have a copy of it yet? Did they send it yet?
Stop by tomorrow. Just got some in the mail today.
I didn't get the bill for ours yet, so I was off. Once I give you.
If you just send it to Casey, and Casey can send it out to, and everybody can review it. Thanks, Casey.
Sorry.
All right.
Did you make mention just a minute ago with the chief report?
I thought that was your chief's report.
Just got one. I misunderstood. I was just commenting generally on the budget. I appreciate you letting me say that. Just one thing on the chief's report. One thing only is we're substantially ahead of last year's fire calls. As I left the firehouse this afternoon, we're 111 fire calls townwide. But the total for last year, it's a lot of work.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see a reflection of that in the budget.
How do we homogenize what you're reporting versus what Chief Evanuska is reporting, right? Because he's getting reports popping out of the software.
They were way ahead of us on their software. Be the first to admit that. I have to thank Tom for that, but this goes back to meeting an administrative assistant to get the stuff done. And we have volunteers that are coming in now and doing this reporting, trying to update everything. And I'm not gonna lie either. A lot of this that I've been doing is catch up baseball.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff that was not done. I'm not pissed off at anybody. It just.
Takes time to dig out of a hole.
And the file was this high, and we're pretty much through it, but it had to take priority before you could move forward. I had to make sure, before I built the new house, I had to, repair the foundation on the old house, and that's kind of what happened. But, we have some people now that have stepped up to the plate in the last 6 months or catching up.
That was just something that came up when we met with Dan last month. Something he wants to see is a breakdown of the calls, types of calls, and what apparatus went out, how many times each apparatus went out.
Yeah, so with we can do a lot of reporting, and it's just a matter of breaking them out and figuring them out. The one thing about kind of breaking out Bethel and Stony Hill calls, we're using one FDID number now, just because that's with the software works. It won't allow us to have one program, one system with 2 FDIDs. So it's a little harder to break out, whether it was just a Bethel call or just a Stony Hill call, and then we all have all the Bethel and Stony Hill together. So I have a ticket into first to figure out how we can create it, because you can create all kinds of custom reports to kind of show, every call that any Stony Hill apparatus on it went on, right, would be a Stony Hill call, and anyone that Bethel went on. And then you had the delta in the middle of where they both went.
Mhm.
But it definitely is significantly higher than it was last year for both departments.
Yeah, that's great. That's harvesting that information is
Yeah,
great.
That's kind of the only
present the
report that we
story,
really
right?
gotta get figured out.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if we could just, I don't think it necessarily matters of which department went so much as to just see, what type of calls are we going on? I mean, are we going on 100,000 CO calls and 2 structure fire calls, or vice versa?
I mean, I literally can set it up where I create the report, and the ones that it sends once a month, I can send them to any email you want. So I literally could send it to each commission member.
Casey Galvez.
You just have the only caveat though is you have 7 days to click on that to see the report, because it's like a read-only report. I mean, we can download it, but.
And I do.
I think from our
Or we can
standpoint,
download it and you send it.
I think from our standpoint, the most the biggest information we need to see is what apparatus is going out and, what apparatus is going out and how's it being used? Did engine six go as a personnel transport wagon, or did engine six go and actually pump water? Did the tower just respond, or did the tower fly?
That's very difficult to report in a drain.
You would have to go into each different narrative and read each narrative
Well,
and see what each apparatus did.
you're still gonna flag working fires and stuff like that, right? You break
Oh,
those out,
yeah.
so the tower fluid are working. I mean,
No,
Versus
that would
automatic
only show
alarm.
in a narrative.
Well, we're doing something a little different. We're starting to track the equipment.
Right, but you can show on your equipment, you can show your pump hours, your mileage,
It's all in first two. All ours in Stony Hill is all documented in first 2 hours.
Right, well, I'm saying that that's something we should see. We should see mileage on each piece of apparatus. We
That's
should
a
see
whole
pump hours.
That's a
We
whole
should see
nother report
PTO
there.
hours.
That's right. It's in there. It's in there.
Yeah, well, he's reporting it. We're not getting it from you.
What we're getting is that I don't care how many trucks go. What I'm really worried about is how much equipment is being used, because that's where the real cost is in the budget. So what we're
We
doing
care
is-
about the trucks going out because you come to us asking for new trucks. We gotta be able to justify them.
Well, and the equipment that's on the trucks is critical. We're talking about air packs, thermal imaging cameras, meters, hose, nozzles, ladders, all that stuff. And we're documenting it downtown. Now we've gone to the next step, just my buddies from OSHA came, and they want to know how often you're using your air packs and who's wearing them. So we put that into our record keeping now. And he made it very, very clear that the use of individual equipment on the scene is just as important as anything else you report on. It's just that documentation tells, what type of training you should be doing based on the type of equipment you're using on each call. And then also, is everybody wearing their turnout gear properly? Just wearing your air pack is one thing. That's wear and tear, but actually using it is another thing. We're tracking all that stuff now. And, but that's all stuff that we just started doing. We just started using that software. And I don't care here, but we know there were different versions that we could have bought of that software, right? You could have gotten an enhanced version of that first one that would allow us to have done other stuff if we chose that, right?
Well, not with the equipment and asset, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a scheduling version and.
Right. Well, you could have, I'm not talking about the existing, but we could have gotten additional options on there, correct?
Well, there's other ones, yeah, but the ones we have are very robust and you can do a tremendous amount of reporting. But you can't, there's no, in that fire incident report, the NFIRS report, which is the new nearest reporting, there may be an opportunity to do that, but we can create workflows where you actually have to then input information of, if it's flagged that truck 4 and truck 1 went to the call, like if that apparatus is on that list of apparatus of times, I think I could create they call it a workflow where it flags it and says, okay, answer these questions. Did you fly the ladder truck? Did you use this on it? So it could be built out probably,
I
but
mean, I think as a jumping off point, I think it'd be most curious to see mileage, pump hours and PTO hours on apparatus.
so Stony Hill we just got all the weekly truck checks in the first due. Right, the checklists are all done. They used to be an emergency report. We just got it finally transferred over there and working. And basically, when you start your truck check, you have to put in the mileage, the engine hours, the pump hours. And it'll show up every time.
So you'll see that every
you pull the
week. You'll
apparatus.
see a change. You can graph it every week.
And I met with Rachel from Bethel Fire last week to show her how we're using it, and we're gonna work on creating the checklist for Bethel. So
But that's a whole nother report versus what you're getting sent right now. That would be another report on top of that.
Which is why we need an administrative assistant.
But now your report, and this goes by,
And we can
directing
use
a question to
access, read-only access to look at it, and you can log in and look at it anytime you want. You could actually log in, you should have an account, you could log in there right now and look at it. You can see the apparatus.
yeah, so I
You
was,
have first due on your phone,
Yeah,
you can go in there. As a basic firefighter level, you can see every piece of apparatus, and the engine hours or whatever.
you'll have to teach me.
Yeah, no, I would love to.
Well, that's a class.
It's an awesome system, it's just, there's a lot to it. And it just takes a lot to learn.
No, I just think from the commissioner's standpoint, when we start talking about replacing apparatus, we have to have something to base that need off of.
No, you're absolutely.
We gotta be able to look and see, well, this truck went 500 miles in the last 3 years, and it's got 2 pump hours on it. And the PTO, wound itself for 3 hours. How do we justify replacing that truck,
We know-
And I think
we know
consistency is
all
the-
those questions. I mean, we know those answers.
We know those answers because we go down and look at the trucks.
Right.
Doug and Todd may not, know those answers, or whoever's gonna be our 5th commission member.
And consistency is the problem, right? We suffer from inconsistency. Like, we gotta have everything the same. Like we've been trying to
Everything
get
is
the
the
same gear for 3 years. We've been trying to get the same piece of paper for the same amount of time. Right? Consistency kills us. And
That,
if
that
I could
came
just-
up again tonight, chief, and that's a bone of contention. The gear, it's gotta be the same for both departments. We can't have one department buying a superior set of equipment than the other department. I mean, if somebody gets sick or injured because they have an inferior product compared to the other department, that's gonna be a huge liability to the town.
Yeah, I'd like to get back to your comments about tracking the apparatus stuff. I agree with you 100%. It should be done acceptably, but you have to include all the equipment, not just the apparatus, the stuff that's on it, in order to make that a realistic report. And Tommy mentioned earlier that now we're limited with one FDID now, before we had 2. So tracking the stuff, I think, was a lot easier. And then on top of that, we're going from end first to nearest now. I don't know if we talked about that at a meeting here. That should be a whole night on how that whole system is changing. And I think the rollover, we're looking for January. All right, and we've been spending time going to these seminars to learn how to do this. And it's not something you can do in one night or one day. This is gonna be a substantial change in reporting. And this is not something that we did. It came from the feds,
I think we'd be happy if we could walk before we run and just get a duplicate report of what we're getting from Stony Hill. Let's just at least start getting some numbers that match. And but go back to a point from earlier. You're saying it's taking so much work to get all this information and pull it out. Chief Evanuska hasn't said that. So it seems like your reports might be auto-populating on your run sheets, whereas there's a lot of legwork going on
We
here.
created, right? So you can create all kinds of ad hoc reports. So those have been created and it's really difficult. So I'll look at it and look at the ones that they're sending up now and I can duplicate it for Bethel.
Okay.
So at least
That'd be great.
we can do it either 2 reports, 1 for each department, or make it 1 report that has both departments on it. I mean, however.
Whatever works for you. I mean,
It's gotta be-
as long as we
it's gotta
see
be
numbers.
broken down separate departments.
It does.
We have the payroll, and then you have the apparatus. Yeah, I don't see why we can't do the exact same thing.
Oh,
we
you
do
certainly
for
can,
ours,
yeah.
That we do.
And they're probably in there and they're probably already in there. They're just not being.
They're not being sent out, that's all.
Okay.
And
That'd be
the
great.
other thing is, listen, he was able to get his system up and running way ahead of us. Right? Because he was very astute and understood the system. And now that Stony Hill appears to be okay with their stuff, he has been spending the time with our people now to bring us up to snuff. I don't know how he could have done that, both departments at the same time. Really, Doug, there's so much.
Mhm.
All right, and we work at it. We generate fire reports, personnel responses once a week about. I can show you the file, right? And we break it down between the 2 fire companies. Tell you how many were primary Stony Hill calls, how many were primary Bethel calls. And it's about 2/3, 1/3, whose district it's in to start with. But we have so much more to do to get all of our information into that system.
Mhm.
And you start adding training, work sessions, fire calls. And now that we've included the equipment, and that was, I had the gun to my head from that OSHA guy. Why are you not including this in here? Why are you not including that? And it was all record keeping.
Yep.
And record keeping of the stuff that we've discussed tonight. So,
I think they always kind of kept track of the equipment. I mean, maybe not in such a detailed format as you are today, but I mean, anytime we made out a incident report, we always documented what equipment was used.
yeah, and now it just seems, It just seems they want that much more.
I mean, it's, clearly it's more detailed today. I mean, we used to, just, we document, 1,000 feet of 5-inch hose, 600 feet of, 1.75 floor fans and 16 air packs.
And I just looked at one other thing here, and I apologize. This stuff about, and I'm sure Doug's in the same boat over there, building maintenance, things like that. We have been waiting for months for that public building committee to come and inspect both firehouses. And I mean, they have scheduled meetings, we're on it, we show up, and they go in a different direction that night. So,
I thought that was done.
no, it didn't get done. They chose not to come.
I think he's talking about something different than what I did. I did the inspection with Kerma. You're talking about the public
that's
safety building committee?
Yes.
This was, they were gonna come and walk through the buildings and see what needed to be.
And we gave them a
Updated.
list of things that we needed work on, and windows, ceiling tiles falling in, stuff not working, all that stuff. And that would help us formulate a more accurate budget, something as simple as building maintenance.
Well, do you submit regular building maintenance requests for repairs?
Yes. We could probably get that generated. I don't know, Tommy might.
Do you still use the school dude, software? That's what it was when I was chief, is it?
No, they're using,
Something different now?
using something different.
And
I mean, it's
we are
either-
doing, we are submitting it to the town, all these work requests.
And nothing's getting done, or?
Most of the time, we get stuff repaired. And we had no heat in the firehouse.
Well, that's been a regular occurrence for 30
I know,
years.
but it was 13 degrees, and they came and they fixed it right away. But that's just another.
That shouldn't be a cost that comes out of your budget. That should be a cost that comes out of the building maintenance budget.
But if we could understand where we should be with this, I think we could manage the overall budget. Maybe a lot of this could be preventative, like service contracts you talk about, like the Plymouth. I can see that good ventilation at the Plymouth event would have a positive effect on building maintenance. So it's just things like that that could be addressed.
Yeah,
Did we get copies of the building maintenance request?
I didn't hear it, Pete.
I said, do we get copies here of the building maintenance request? Maybe if nothing happens, we can push them forward to somebody else.
I would really just like to see that public building committee come and walk the part out.
Yeah, I mean, I went and tried to find out who's in charge of the roofs and when the roof inspections were happening and what the repair plan was, and
Right.
nobody even called me back.
Right.
And that was months ago.
I mean, at some point, the windows are gonna fall out of the front of the firehouse.
Hallway is horrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. And I don't see why the fire commission couldn't be more involved in complaints like that, like needs of the department and the town
Well, it
building.
all comes down to money, which is what your purview. is.
Well, yeah, right. We can certainly, if nothing's being done.
Right, but we have to have the knowledge that you have a need. I mean, it can't just be, Pete and I walk into the building and see something. I mean, we don't necessarily go into Stony Hills Firehouse and all the time and see what's going out there.
Bethel problem.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sounds like a Bethel problem.
But
Yeah.
also remember, if you go back into capital requests there in years past, that stuff was in there.
And the windows and the garage doors, we deferred that to building maintenance. Don't get me wrong, there's stuff that was supposed to be done when I was chief. You were supposed to have a new water main put in and the parking lot was supposed to be paved in 2009.
And you told me that you put in for an administrative assistant.
Well, no, I didn't put in for it. John Menti and I discussed it. We never put in for it. I'm not 100% sold on that. You got like 15 administrative members.
and they seem to be working pretty hard.
We work them.
Yeah,
You guys are there.
they're
You see those people that are working every day.
I said, I think if Tom helps them out, then that should work. Rachel and, what's the other guy?
Glenn,
Glenn, yeah, Glenn.
Rachel,
Glenn does all the fire reports.
Carrie in there.
Gail's been going to town.
Well, Glenn's in there all the time doing it. He could probably use a little help on what he's supposed to enter.
My thought is,
The fire incident report should be done by the fire officers after the call is over. In person.
You mean it's not being done by the fire officers after the call?
Fire officers required to fill out the written report and they have the option to do it. But what we find regularly is that, a lot of people are not doing it. By doing it in writing allows us to make the modifications that Glenn sees, and then a lot of times Tommy sees that we deleted, certainly not intentionally, but we needed to put more information in there to make that report complete. You know,
How does that happen?
it happens.
How can you have somebody doing a report that was possibly not even there?
No, it wasn't there. Yeah, he just.
Well, they can't be making out a report if they're not there and adding information. They don't have the knowledge.
I try to read what the officer wrote, that input it into the computer.
You saw, there's a letter on the wall in the kitchen. You see, it's been there now for a couple of years.
I'm very confused. If you have incident commanders that are not completing their incident reports, then they're not doing their job.
Well, they're doing, from what I understand about the right, they do a paper report, old paper with all the narratives and everything in it, and what equipment responded and the attendance list.
And the equipment.
And then Glenn, the admin person, will go and take that information and create the electronic version of that report.
Right, and
So
many
that's the
times
visibility.
that those reports are not complete, and it's usually just a little thing. But we have that intermediate level, which is Glenn at this point in time, who will call and say, hey, what about this? Somebody missed it, or what about that? Somebody missed it. And if we make a phone call, we correct the report, and we submit it, it makes this job a hell of a lot easier. But there's many times, not many times, Tommy will say, hey, we need this also. Chase it down and get it.
And there are some that sit there for over
Yeah, I know.
over a month or two that are.
Maybe longer than that. Yep. I know.
So how does this get straightened out?
I don't know.
You're saying
If you-
it's
I
on
don't
the
understand.
council side on their officer finishing the report, and then he should submit it electronically. Is that what we're saying here?
I don't understand. If you can take the time to write it out by hand, why can't you take the time to input it into the computer?
That's what I was.
Eliminate the writing it by hand part.
Because,
Saves a tree.
no, because if you see the letter, it's on the wall in the little kitchen downstairs. And it says that the officer that fills out or will only be done by an officer or the senior firefighter responding in the acting officer position. And that was to make sure that everybody was accurately given credit or not given credit for being at that call. Because a few years ago, that was an issue and it's working out real good now. So I don't want somebody coming to me the night of the vote and say, oh, I went to 20 more calls. You guys screwed me out of 20. Oh, no. We have an officer now that is directly in charge of making sure that that report is done by a written signature. And that's why we're still using the paper. And it seems to be working okay, except that we have occasionally times when the information that Glenn needs is not always on there. And then times when Tommy needs more. That's all I'm saying. There's a checklist there to make sure things are accurate. And right now it seems to have stabilized a lot of that attendance related issue.
I guess I'm not seeing the big picture. I mean, you can sign reports electronically. It doesn't have to be signed on paper.
And I'm telling you, I have officers that do them electronic. I can tell you.
I guess I'm missing the big picture. Just seems to me if the reports need to be filed electronically, you could just eliminate the paper concept and go right to the electronic.
Save everybody a lot of work.
Save a lot of work, save a lot of trees.
Eliminate chances for error.
Okay,
I
so
don't
let's
know.
talk about it. 4 months ago, we finally got all the computers in the fire station working properly. Guy came in, spent days. Guys saw him in there. We didn't have that. We only have one computer, that one in the red room to do that. And when that broke down, couldn't do our reports. Now we have EMS, we have a dedicated computer for that. All the computers talk to each other because we only got a couple of printers. So we updated our.
Wasn't that kind of, it leads me to want to get on an EMS call, the crew leader on the EMS call does an electronic report.
Not necessarily right away.
Twenty-four
Fred,
hours.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just telling you, not necessarily right away.
Do you tell them what fields you want inputted?
With that,
Do you tell them what fields you want them to fill in?
well, yeah, with Emperor's, there's mandatory fields.
Right.
So
like,
it's, the
if
biggest
it
one
asks the
is,
value of the property, do you want them to put in 0 every time? And
so if there's any 100 series calls, which is any type of fire, they can complete the report, but it's not authorized to go to Emperor's until
Until it goes through
reviewed.
you. Right.
Yeah, so it's not really an issue with one.
So you're still
actual
going
fires.
through-
It's every other type of call. It's filling in the apparatus, times, and the people and the narrative, you know, and the action taken and the type of incident is the biggest part of it. And then just making sure on the payroll, they call it the payroll page, where everyone that was on the call is in there and has a point.
I guess the thing that's getting me is if I was an incident commander and I filled out a report and I know that somebody else is going in and changing or adding or deleting things, I'd be very concerned. Knowing that this report could possibly go to court and I could be called on a court case, knowing that somebody has altered the report that I initially made.
Okay.
I would find that very concerning.
Good question. What this new software does, it allows that person to go in and do an individual narrative to add to the initial report. And we have that.
Every apparatus has a narrative.
All right, so we go, let's say, to a bad wreck. And like Doug is there, I say, Doug, you're the operations officer, you got the extrication. And I may have another company come in and, guys, get a line off the truck, get on the fire. Well, I say, hey, Doug, do me a favor, give me a narrative on what you did. I'm gonna do the overall one. But it's a supplemental narrative that we do all the time, right? Time we get them in the reports. And it's,
you do, but there's
I know, it's not.
a delay.
There is, that's correct. Because
It should be done shortly after the incident took place.
how many times do people come and say, hey, Billy, I gotta go back?
And-
What do you say to the guy? Yeah, go back to work.
If they
Get
brought
that
the
done
people
fast.
that input this information to you, did you show them or have you
Oh,
shown
yeah,
them?
I've offered, we've had training classes in the past at Bethel. We did it during the fire two class. Yeah, I have no problem showing them. It's not that difficult. It's pretty straightforward. And you can do it from any laptop or iPad anywhere, as long as you can log in, that you have a first to log in, you can do it.
'Cause I've sat down there and watched it.
Yeah.
And
He does them on the iPad.
I think you should jump on this nearest thing, so. It's gonna be a decent change in the fire service.
Tom's gonna teach us how to do that.
Yeah. It's,
Because it
the
all
only thing
goes
with that
through
is
your
the actions,
office.
the incident types and the actions taken are just worded differently. That's really the biggest part.
Right.
And some additional fields depending on what you did.
And for system is over 40 years old.
Yeah.
Finally, they're updated. Okay.
Does that conclude your report? I was gonna make a motion to accept the chief's reports. Second. All in favor?
Alright,
Aye. I'll make another motion, we adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Perfect.
Sure, and we'll go back.